Ну, время уже, да? Започваме?
Да.
Добрый день, дорогие коллеги.
От имени организаторов разрешите приветствовать вас всех участников. Проект серия вебинаров осуществляется по инициативе факультета классических и новых филологий, Центра восточных языков и культур и научно-образовательного и культурного центра Аль-Фараби в Софийском университете. Ведущие этого семинара будут Виолетта Добичина и Баян Сапаргалиева. Администрировать этот семинар будет наш докторант Софийского университета Владимир Митев. Сейчас вам предоставим вашему вниманию фильм про культуру и историю Болгарии. Он короткий. И потом начнем нашу работу. Пожалуйста. Приятного просмотра. Ладно, можно пускать фильмы.
If you want to learn more about Bulgarian culture, just come with me. And do not be amazed that for many things I use the same word. Unique. You will see for yourselves. Neseba is a romantic town and one of the most frequently visited tourist destinations. It is one of the UNESCO sites in Bulgaria. Sozopol is also located on the seaside, with gorgeous beaches and preserved architecture and atmosphere. Bulgarian lands were among the earliest inhabited ones in Europe, lured by the strategic location, a crossroads between Europe and the Orient, the mild climate and the fertile soil. Thracians, Greeks, Celts, Goths and Romans have all been here. Ancient civilizations which inhabited this lovely land have left their imprints. Beglik Tash is the name of our megalithic compound created around the 14th century BC. Legend has it that anyone passing through will be exonerated of their sins. Bulgarians believe that miracles happen today if you only have faith. For example, if a sick person spends the night at Krastova Gora, they can be healed. Christianity has been the official religion of the Bulgarian state since the 9th century. Bulgarian national and cultural identity have been preserved through the ages in many Orthodox churches and monasteries. I will take you to Boiana Church, one of 11 UNESCO heritage sites in Bulgaria. The Boiana artist and his pupils painted 240 images of prominent individuality and psychologism. Rila Monastery is the sanctuary of Bulgarian spirit. It keeps valuable manuscripts in Cyrillic, our alphabet. The creators of our alphabet, the Holy Brothers Cyril and Methodius, are most revered in Bulgaria. At the end of summer, near Zharavna village, a festival of Bulgarian folklore costumes is held. In June, visit Bulgari village in the Stranja Mountains. There you can witness a unique ritual, fire dancing, or nestinostvo. The ritual is a mixture of Orthodox beliefs and older pagan traditions. These menacing masks and huge bells are used to scare evil spirits away. These are kukeri. The bagpipe is a traditional Bulgarian instrument. Go to the festival in Gela village. The sound of the bagpipe may touch your heart. Listen. The sounds of the Bulgarian bagpipe intertwined in the famous Rodopi song, Izlel Delu Haidutin, can be heard in outer space. The Madara horseman is the only rock carving in Europe that dates back to the early Middle Ages. A similar artifact is found in Persia only. Welcome to the former Bulgarian capital city, Veliko Turnovo. The fortresses in the city are enthralling, built in the 12th century on the inapproachable hills. Do not miss the light show of Tsarovets fortress. The second largest Bulgarian city, Plovdiv, is situated on the banks of the river Maritsa. The ancient city was the center of the Roman province of Thrace. The Roman past of Plovdiv will charm you. Visit the ancient theatre. Visit the Roman stadium. You know who Dionysus is, right? Dionysus is the god of wine and grapes. He was worshipped by Greeks and Romans. Only the Dionysus cult originates from Thracians. And who were the Thracians? Bulgarian lands keep the memory of their life. Kazakh area is called the Valley of Thracian Kings because of the many Thracian burial chambers found there. The biggest one is at Starosel. A Thracian king is believed to have been buried there. Visit also Sveshtari tomb with its beautiful female figurines, a UNESCO site. During the springtime, the fields around Kazakh become rose-tinted in color. Rose growing has been the livelihood of local people for centuries. Bulgaria is a multicultural country. A tour around the capital city, Sofia, is sufficient to indicate what you will see throughout Bulgaria. A cathedral, synagogue, and mosque live together here. An archaeological park and a crypt of the early Christian church. These are martinitsi. They're made of red and white threads and are the symbol of spring. Gorgeous and preserved nature, unique traditions, hospitable people and centuries-old history. Here the diversity of the whole Balkan Peninsula is brought together. You already know the most important things about Bulgaria. It is time to learn more by visiting us. Welcome to Bulgaria. We're looking forward to greeting you.
Вот это фильм. Надеюсь, что немножко прочувствовали Болгарию и захотели приехать. А сейчас разрешите мне обратиться к вам с приветственными словами. Слышно меня? Коллеги, слышно?
Слышно, слышно.
Да. Хорошо, хорошо. Перед этим искам да кажа на българските колеги, за да не губиме време за превод, аз съм качила приветственото си слово на чата и може да го видите на български език. Уважаеми гости, уважаеми професор Стойчева, уважаеми спикери, професор Данова, професор Масалимова, доцент Бекжанов и Нурлайхан Алжанова. Уважаеми коллеги, партнеры, уважаемые организаторы, профессор Панов и Владимир Митев. Дорогие друзья, мне очень приятно обратиться к вам со словами приветствия в качестве директора научно-образовательного и культурного центра Аль-Фараби при Софийском университете и поблагодарить за ваш интерес. Разрешите мне открыть наш первый из серии вебинаров словами Альберта Эйнштейна. В разгар любого кризиса открываются прекрасные возможности. Коронавирус появился из ниоткуда и в кратчайшие сроки коренным образом изменил нашу жизнь. Но кризисы были всегда. Со временем люди научились думать о них не только как о плохом, но и как о возможностях. Кризис – это своего рода проверка. Кто подготовился, как далеко он зашел, как приспособился к новой реальности. Имеем дело с абсолютной неопределенностью, но есть уверенность, что вместе преодолеем трудности. Хочу особо подчеркнуть слово «вместе». Пандемия COVID-19, которая радикально изменила образ жизни людей во всем мире, и последующий кризис в экономике и в социальном развитии общества привели к быстрому развитию использования цифровых технологий. Приведу слова Маргареты Вестингер, исполнительного заместителя председателя Европейской комиссии, которая отвечает за цифровизацию и конкуренцию. В результате значительного по масштабу социологического исследования она озвучила, что 95% респондентов, участвующих в вопросе о плане действий в области цифрового образования, считают кризис поворотным моментом на пути внедрения технологий в образование. Страны Европейского Союза продолжат искать способы сделать образование и обучение подходящим для цифровой эпохи, так как пандемия COVID-19 показала, что цифровая грамотность имеет решающее значение для экономического развития и устойчивости общества. Произошел настоящий прорыв в цифровизации образования, возможность получать знания и готовить людей к будущему. Эпидемия ускорила внедрение новых технологий, приобретение нового опыта работы в области образования. Это вызов для всех стран мира, включая наши страны. Цифровые технологии сыграли решающую роль в поддержке экономической и социальной жизни во время кризиса COVID-19. Они станут ключевым отличительным фактором для успешного перехода к устойчивой экономике и устойчивому обществу и после пандемии. Надо списать ненужное, формировать новые качества человеческого потенциала, созидателей, работать на опережение, на будущее, запускать проекты созидания. Могут ли технологии помочь смягчить воздействие COVID-19 на системы образования в регионе Европы, Центральной Азии и в Иране? В образовательных системах происходят беспрецедентные в истории изменения. Цели и роль образования уже начали пересматриваться. Происходит значительное изменение навыков. Меняются также модели предоставления образовательных услуг. Меняется роль университетов, расширение знаний посредством исследований и превращение их в полезные инновации. Меняются образовательные парадигмы. Высшее образование сегодня призвано быть гарантом современного развития нашего общества, а не думать лишь о собственном развитии. В последнее время все почувствовали актуальность необходимости цифрового перехода. Некоторые вопросы, на которые, если мы не ответим в рамках серии вебинаров, по крайней мере, вместе можем начать искать ответы. Например, сможет ли пандемия в условиях COVID-19 превратить академическое сообщество в свой внутренний инструмент и использовать его для выхода из неблагоприятного кризиса сегодня и в менее критические времена? Насколько быстро и эффективно университеты могут справиться с текущим кризисом? Как скажется пандемия на международное академическое и научное сотрудничество? Какие практики являются эффективными в налаживании системы цифровой поддержки международной образовательной деятельности университетов в условиях пандемии? Очень важный вопрос и о проблемах, и о сложностях, с которыми мы все вместе и по отдельности столкнулись в процессе цифровизации высшего образования. В марте 2021 года Европейская комиссия представила видение, цели и пути успешной цифровой трансформации Европы к 2030 году. Права человека и европейские ценности лежат в основе цифрового подхода Европейского Союза. Они должны быть полностью отражены в онлайн-пространстве, как и в реальном мире. Поэтому комиссия предлагает разработать структуру цифровых принципов, чтобы гарантировать, что в онлайн-среде и в реальной среде действуют одинаковые права, обязанности, ценности. Европейская комиссия рассчитывает, что к 2030 году Европа станет дигитальной, то есть максимально перейдет на цифровые технологии. Чтобы помочь людям сориентироваться в сверхинтернете будущего, Еврокомиссия представила свой собственный цифровой компас. Он покажет путь к преобразованию экономики и обучению граждан всевозможным навыкам обращения с электроникой и программным обеспечением, развитию глобального сотрудничества в этой сфере. На вхождение в цифровую эпоху нацелена и новая программа Erasmus+ 2021-2027 год. Она продолжает оставаться уникальной по своим масштабам и всемирно признанной из-за ее доступности для остального мира. Программа будет поддерживать экологический цифровой переход. Об этом заявила болгарский еврокомиссар Мария Габриэль, которая отвечает, кстати, за инновации, исследования, политика в области культуры, образования, молодежи. Программа продолжает. Программа также будет более открыта для международного сотрудничества с третьими странами. Она также отметила, что Erasmus+ будет поддерживать развитие цифровых навыков в соответствии со своей ключевой инициативой, новым планом действий по цифровому образованию. Цифровизация остается важной сферой взаимодействия Европейского Союза со странами Центральной Азии. Европейский Союз заинтересован в расширении сотрудничества со странами Центральной Азии, цифровой экономики, получении доступа к цифровой инфраструктуре, продвижении цифровой грамотности, развитии цифрового предпринимательства, создание устойчивой академической сети для обмена опытом и передовыми практиками в области инновационных образовательных технологий и дидактических моделей. Особо надо подчеркнуть, что несмотря на санкционную политику в отношении Ирана, это не привело к отказу Европейского Союза от диалога с Исламской Республикой. Для Европы значимо является сотрудничество в гуманитарной сфере, в том числе в осуществлении образовательных проектов. В последние годы для Ирана стала доступна программа Erasmus+, организация совместных конференций и методологических семинаров. Наша цель – вместе найти инновационные и прагматичные решения для преодоления текущих проблем и создания более устойчивых и инклюзивных систем цифрового образования. Команда Софийского университета надеется на основе углубленного анализа тенденций развития высшего образования заложить основу для создания совместных программ с университетами региона, представители которых будут участвовать в профессиональных онлайн-встречах. Главное, что мы все понимаем, что назад к аналоговому прошлому дороги нет, и вместе надо входить в цифровую эпоху. В конце разрешите поблагодарить наших давних партнеров, Казахский национальный университет имени Аль-Фараби и Казахский национальный педагогический университет имени Абая, за их отклик на наше приглашение принять участие в первом из серии вебинаров, который является частью проекта цифровизации образования в контексте пандемии COVID-19, практики и инноваций в высшем образовании в Болгарии и в странах Центральной Азии, Казахстан, Узбекистан, Кыргызстан, Таджикистан и Иран. Желаю нашему форуму плодотворной работы. Спасибо за внимание. А сейчас разрешите дать слово второму ведущему, Баян Сапаргалиевой. За приветственное слово.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Violetta. Dear colleagues, greetings from Kazakhstan. Greetings to participants of online educational forum. And it's a very big conference named Digitalization and Education in the Context of the COVID-19 Pandemic. Practices and innovations in higher education in Bulgaria and in Kazakhstan. My name is Bayan Sapargalieva. I am a postdoctoral researcher of Abai University, Abai Kazakh National Pedagogical University. And I am very happy to see and to say my greetings to our colleagues and our partners from Kliment Ohridski, Sofia University. We did a lot of things, and we are a very good partners of Sofia University, collaboration partners, and I think we will have a lot of projects together because we like friends with Sofia University. I am so happy to see you, and my greetings, my warm greetings to you. And thank you very much for organizing this very good conference and very actual conference in our days, because I would like to say that this conference and the name of the conference are very actual because of the UNESCO shared an information that over 1.5 billion students in 165 countries are unable to attend classes due to COVID-19. The pandemic has forced the global academic community to turn to new teaching methods, including distance and online learning. This has proven challenging for both students and the teachers who have to cope with the negative emotional, physical, and economic consequences of the disease while helping to combat the spread of the virus. No one knows what the future holds, especially the millions of students who, after graduating from university this year, will face a global economy severely hit by the pandemic. So that is why we're here today, and I'm very happy to see you all. And I would like to say my greetings to other Central Asia universities from our partner Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, and to other partners. I saw a lot of my friends here and colleagues from other countries. I saw Kyrgyzstan, and I saw a lot of universities from Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. So I'm very happy to see you, and I hope that within the programs of Erasmus Plus or another project programs, we will do a lot of things together, and a lot of maybe projects, maybe create someone during this series of conferences with Sofia University, including Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Iran. And we will have a very good opportunity for our students to solve maybe some problems or to do their life better. Because we are the teachers, and we have opportunities, a lot of opportunities to do the best in our life and during our job. So we will do everything for our students, for their life, for the future of our students, and for the future of our children. Thank you very much. And yes, maybe.
Thank you, Баян. Thank you, Баян. Спасибо, Баян. Спасибо. А сега ми разрешете да дам думата на нашата уважавана професор Мария Стойчева, заместник ректор на Софийския университет. Разрешите мне сейчас предоставить слово нашему уважаемому профессору Марии Стойчевой, проректор Софийского университета.
Dear colleagues, I'm very happy to take part in the beginning of this online educational forum. I have been invited by the two Bulgarian Sofia University centers to participate and to say a few words of welcome to the discussion. I particularly like to appreciate the efforts of the Al-Farabi Scientific Educational Cultural Center at Sofia University, and particularly the Center for Oriental Languages and Cultures to our university. In some sense, we are very proud with the activities of these two centers, and also we consider them as a unique contribution to the cooperation of Sofia University with partners outside the university. That's the reason why, and appreciating their valuable and good work, which led me, and I didn't hesitate to come and welcome you all. I would like especially to address and to congratulate our two important partners in Kazakhstan, the Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, with which we have already, quite a lot of experience working together, and we are deepening our collaboration in every possible aspect. And also the Abai Kazakh National Pedagogical University. And in my understanding, this is probably a newer partner of our university, but we put a lot of emphasis into strengthening and expanding collaboration with the university. I would also like to say that we are really in a pandemic situation. We are far from what we can call post-pandemic, and we need to adjust really our education, our strategies, our policies to this situation. And digitalization is becoming a major issue, and I would like to especially appreciate the topic. And I'll also see in the keynote speech that you have identified here, very important aspect that we are still considering, and I think there will be a very good exchange of opinions, of thoughts, of visions of how we should continue it. I also would like to emphasize that for a fora like that would have been very difficult in the previous, what we call normal situation, because this will involve a lot of traveling, organization, a long distance, and all these things that sometimes might be a barrier or too costly. But I would like to congratulate all the organizers of this forum and all the activities online for their initiative and for bringing us actually closer to each other, bringing us closer to understanding of what our cooperation should be and how we can collaborate. So with these introductory words, I would like to also mention that we are probably in a situation when we have a benefit of being able to share different more than one language. So I would like to say, уважаемые коллеги, мне очень приятно поздравить вас. И я думаю, что это будет очень интересный обмен идей. Я желаю успеха в вашей дискуссии.
Спасибо вам, профессор Стойчева, и что всегда поддерживаете нас и участвуете в нашей встрече. А сейчас разрешите предоставить слово декану факультета философии и декану факультета классических кино и филологии профессору Мадлен Данова.
I'll just say thank you again, going into English. Once again, I have to say this, that I'm really very happy that this idea of ours to start a discussion, this is just the beginning of our discussion on the way this COVID-19 pandemics has influenced how we teach, how we live, although it's only a year and not even a year and a half since this whole change occurred. I think it's time to start reconsidering, thinking about the way our lives changed. And this is the first series of such talks, and I'm sure that we will have some very, very interesting ideas to share together, to learn, to see how other universities have been many different solutions. Some universities just closed down for one semester. They just postponed, so to say, all their activities with the hope that this would not last for more than 3 months or 2 months or even 1 month. But of course, now we know that it is not something that is to pass so easily and so quickly. We are still into this pandemic. We still don't know whether we can open our next academic year in what we used to call normal, in a normal way. I don't know whether there will be this normal vision would be sustained. Obviously, things will change. So just allow me to start my presentation just for a second. Okay, hopefully you will be able to see it in a second. Okay, so just a second, sorry about that, but somehow it will not. So another try, and hopefully it's video. That you can see it now. So let me just have it from the beginning. In higher education in Bulgaria. And of course, today I'll try to talk about the example of Sofia University. I would not go into all these theoretical aspects, all that talk about the new digital world. I'm sure. Okay, so something happened. I suppose you cannot see the presentation. I'll try again. Okay, so once again, it is, I hope, there. We've heard a lot about this digital world, about this very interesting division between digital natives and digital immigrants. All that talk, of course, now seems to be quite familiar. But what we've experienced experienced in the last year and a half seems beyond any of these expectations, any of these visions that we had before the pandemic started. And I would say that this is something beyond the imagination of anyone else. Probably that's too strong, but definitely beyond our own imagination. So as we know, all of us, we have somehow to just go from what we call this normal situation overnight to change everything that we do, everything that we knew about education, everything that we were accustomed to. So talking about Sofia University, of course, this idea about online education, about digitalization started at the end of the previous century. There was much talk about both distance learning and introducing all these new opportunities that this computerized electronic, the world of electronic media, all these new technologies can give us. So the idea was with us, there were a lot of people at the end of the 20th century, a lot of people at the beginning of the 21st century who would talk about this necessity of becoming digital natives, stop being digital immigrants. But of course, the circumstances, somehow the circumstances did not ask for immediate transformation of our educational activities, of our whole lives, as that happened, as I said, overnight. So the real push to this digitalization, of course, at Sofia University came in the first decade of the 21st century, which of course is quite understandable, having in mind all these developments in the world. And there have been two directions in which this has been carried out. This one was, of course, the digitalization of all these administrative services offered to the students and, of course, the teaching staff and the administrative staff at the university. And the other direction, of course, was to develop this online education. Online education, I say, because this term distance education somehow bothers me. It always reminds me of the 50s, the 40s, even the 50s, even earlier of the 20th century, when people educated themselves through receiving all these materials that they have to study through what we call nowadays snail mail. So it reminds me of Australia, of Canada, of these vast territories that had to be covered, the distance that had to be covered in one way or another, so that everyone can receive education. But nowadays, of course, it's online, it's computerized, it is electronic, digital, as the word will go nowadays. So as far as these two directions that I mentioned are concerned, on the one hand, in the last 20-something years, we've had this digitalization of the administrative services at Sofia University. So the creation of the establishment of this integrated administrative online system for students that started in the late 1990s and has been improved several times. But the problem, of course, was that it was not linked to this online educational platforms that existed. It was not linked to the financial department and not linked to any of the other administrative systems at the university. The same case was the case with the online education at Sofia University. It started developing at the beginning of the 21st century, when in this first decade of the century, the university acquired the online educational platform Moodle, and especially at the end of this first decade, into the second decade of the 21st century, there were a lot of projects, usually financed by EU funds, that introduced this online education, online courses at our university. But all these efforts, they were either part of a specific project, or they were just somehow within the duration of each of these projects. Of course, many of the courses were there. Many of the courses were used by the professors, by the students, but it was not the rule that each of the courses offered at the university should have its online version on this platform. The important step towards the introduction of whole BA and MA programs that would be online programs that would be taught in this way was, of course, the fact that the university was finally accredited, was given this accreditation for offering online education. We use it, the term distance learning, at the beginning of this second decade of the 21st century. That was a very important step, because before that, before receiving this accreditation, it's obvious that we couldn't do anything. And this University Center for Distance Learning was created in 2011 with its own stature and its own strategy for the development of distance learning and online learning. They started organizing a lot of training courses, and of course this center is responsible for all the accreditation procedures of BA and MA programs in this distance learning form. So of course there were a lot of problems, as I said. Probably the greatest problem that I've already mentioned was that the platform, this Moodle platform, was not centrally managed. So each faculty, each department even had access to the platform, but they were responsible for the creation, designing, managing of all these online courses. And there was also no, so to say, administrative backup for these online courses that was centralized, meaning that all the students of the university would be enrolled in these online courses centrally. So not by a particular department or MA program or faculty or any other unit, but for each semester to have all students enrolled before the semester starts in the online course that goes with the curriculum that they are following. And the other big problem with this online education was that there was no virtual classroom option to be used on this Moodle platform. That was a big problem, because basically we could not teach that easily. Of course, there were ways, there were other platforms that were introduced at some of the faculties, but it was very difficult to teach online. And the COVID-19 pandemic, so to say, came out of the blue, I would say, and the whole educational process had to be transformed overnight, just transferred online overnight. And this is not an exaggeration. It was for 2 days that, and the 2 days were Saturday and Sunday. So on Friday afternoon, they closed everything. And on Monday morning, we had to start teaching online. And it was really good, talking from the perspective of our faculty, that we had all these projects for introducing online education before this particular date. The date was 13th of March, if I'm not wrong, last year, 2020. So if there were no courses created, I don't know what we would have done at that moment. Of course, there were a lot of students, most of the students, and also a lot of people from our teaching staff, not to mention the administrative staff, who had no experience whatsoever of this online teaching and also online administrative services. So we did have some experience at our faculty, because that's what I know best, that's what I can talk about, but still there was a lot of work to do. I simply don't want to think about these times. So all these measures that have been the effect of the pandemic was, first of all, that all the electronic systems operating at the university have been connected. So all these systems, meaning the administrative system, the online administrative system for the students that I mentioned, it was connected to the Moodle platform, together with all these other administrative services that now became online, became digitalized. Right away, this virtual classroom was also introduced, incorporated within the Moodle platform, so that we can teach our courses virtually. We can see our students, be with them, although only virtually. And all courses started being created centrally. As I said, that means at the beginning of each semester, all the courses from the curricula of the different BA and MA programs, they are opened on the Moodle platform, and all the students and teaching staff enrolled in these courses centrally, which of course showed all the deficiencies of the online system in which these courses are registered and the students are registered. So a lot of work had to be done to make these systems work together. And also all the administrative services are delivered electronically nowadays, which is quite a big step, at least for Bulgaria and for our university in particular. Of course, problems, a lot of problems that we had to go through and solve in one way or another. The most important, of course, was that no one expected that we will need such a technical backup for all the courses taught at the university being delivered almost simultaneously, having all these 20,000 students that we have at our university probably working on the online platform at one and the same time. That of course is an exaggeration, but we didn't have the technical means, the technology that could support this, so to say, sudden flood of users of the platform. So the first months were very difficult. There were a lot of breakups of the platform, of the virtual classrooms. People became exasperated because they were inexperienced on the one hand. On the other hand, the platform was not working well. People started searching for other options, which of course was not always a solution, a good solution, but just for the moment it worked. On top of that, there were not enough people competent to work within this digitalized working environment in all these different spheres. And also, it turned out we were not prepared for all these unforeseen consequences from the pandemics. And because I know that the time is running and I'm very much over my time, I'll mention only two aspects of this. The problem with what I call the technical support, the problem with not all people who had to stay home now, having the technical devices, the needed devices, this internet connection so that they could work from home, because it was a very good idea to send them to work from what we called from this home office. But of course, these home offices, they were not supplied with all the necessary technical devices. That was true for the students, that was true for the administrative staff, that was true for the teaching staff as well. So that was the first issue, of course, that we were confronted with, and some very, very quick solutions were needed. The other one is, of course, with the technical support, somehow we managed. There were more laptops bought, more technical means ensured so that the systems can work well. People could take their computers home, work from their home so that they could be in this kind of safer environment. But we have also this psychological consequences from the pandemics, and now at this particular moment it seems that this is the biggest issue. More and more people are starting suffering from these kind of states of depression, panic, you name it. I'm not a psychologist, but as the dean of the faculty, I'm receiving more and more questions from our students and even from our teaching and administrative staff, whether something can be done to ensure that there is a psychological support for students and teaching staff to overcome the consequences of this pandemics, of the lockdown, of being isolated for such a long time and not living our lives in the way in which we used to, we knew how to live them, and just to cope with the fact that we had to change our whole lifestyle and working style, as I said, overnight. So we are still to come with a good solution to such a problem. And this is a problem that has become very important, so to say, topical in the last few months, from the beginning of this year, I should say, because last year all the efforts were towards organizing this environment so that it could become a good working and learning and studying and teaching environment for all the participants in this process. Okay, I'll stop here. I'm sure that these will be the questions that we will be discussing in these seminars, these webinars that we've started. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready to answer any questions.
I'm sorry, Violetta, are you here? Okay, maybe something was wrong with Violetta's, with maybe some internet connection. And thank you very much, dear Professor Madeleine Danova, for your very interesting information about the about the digitalization process in your university. And it was very interesting to know that the same problems in all countries, in all universities in the world. But yes, we are here because we just would like to solve these problems for our students. And thank you very much. And dear colleagues, if you will have any questions, you're welcome to write it in our chat of this webinar. And I would like to say one more again, as my colleague Violetta said you before, that you should write your names and your institutions. From what country are you here today? And I saw a lot of colleagues from Kyrgyzstan, Diplomatic Academy of Kyrgyz Republic, here director, Dr. Professor Chinara Adamkulova. I saw her. Please, I would like to ask you to write your name because and your email, because it's very important for our colleagues from Europe to know a lot of.
Нямаме време.
Yeah, are you here, Violetta?
Нет времени, нет времени.
Okay, and other colleagues, please write your email. I just, Violetta, would like to, yes, to say your words because, yeah, something was wrong with your internet. Thank you.
Нет, Баян, огромное тебе спасибо, конечно. Сейчас, пожалуйста, даю слово Нурлыхан Алжанова, который расскажет нам немножко о культуре Казахстана и предоставить нам фильм про Казахстан, историю, культуру.
Hello, dear colleagues. I'm glad to see everyone here. And so I'm supposed to share a promotional video about Kazakh culture. So I tried to capture main concepts in Kazakh culture, but basically it relates to traditional culture. So please, here you are.
Нурлыхан, не слышно?
Не слышно?
Звука нет.
Странно, но у меня включено, а меня слышно?
Тебя слышно?
Нурлыхан, во время запуска там будет запрашивать, звук включать или не включать. Надо еще раз перезапустить, кажется.
Хорошо, сейчас. Я извиняюсь, секунду.
Это нормально, техника.
Там есть какая-то функция совместное использование звука, и мы бы носила все же.
А теперь слышно?
Казахстан рабочий стол говорит. Вообще демонстрация.
Ау?
Сильно видео, если кто-то раньше казахстан. Рабочий стол шахтарсен казахстан.
Секунду. Я извиняюсь.
Там есть функция совместный доступ к звуку Диген. Когда нажимаешь на демонстрацию экрана, ты видео выложи, как обычно делаешь, и совместный доступ к звуку Диген.
Сейчас попробую. Теперь слышно?
Нет, пока. Видео застыло.
Сейчас.
Без звука, только картинка идет.
Картинка идет. Все. Пошло.
Отлично.
Kazakhs are not stingy people. Kazakh people are very friendly. They have a generous heart. In addition, Kazakh people are very talented. They quickly learn all different things. They quickly absorb new knowledge. We highly respect our guests. We prepare a nice meal, a dastarhan. It's our nature, psychological characteristics. That's how Kazakhs are. Daughter-in-law, bring my grandson here. Here he is, my lovely grandson. According to tradition, you have to give a present once you see my grandson for the first time. It's called korumdik. Yes, right, the in-laws bring here your presents. Customs and traditions are the laws of life, the basic instrument in education. There is a Kazakh folk wisdom. Even if you will starve for 6 years, you should never forget the traditions of your fathers. Though the era changes, but we see that the Kazakh wedding traditions and customs are still passed down from generation to generation, and we care about our people. There is one thing that does not change at all times. It's like an unbreakable thread running from the past. That's humanity, respect for elders, respect in general. You have to show your respect to your family. Daughter-in-law is a hearth of joy. After the appearance of the bride, the house is filled with joy. As the daughter comes into the house, all honorable men proceed to the tradition of education. We Kazakhs have a tradition of educating a daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law, according to the traditions of the Kazakh people, young daughter-in-law gives the name to her sister and brother-in-law. Mr. Jigiv, welcome. Come in the place of honor. Oh, Jenishe, I myself come from afar. My horse is exhausted. I dream about a tea from your hands. The Kazakhs have the word gentility. We always ask about the family. A gentility of Kazakhs means to keep the tradition of the 7th generation. You can get married after 7th generation. After 7th generation, they call it either grandchild or relative for the 7th generation. This means they have far connection, you can get married. Therefore, the whole world recognizes the Kazakh people. For Kazakh people, a father's house is a special place. Shanarag still has value as a house, a family. A newlywed couple starts a new life with a blessing. Let this family be strong. These are hopes for a new family to be strong, its authority to be high. Our people have a tradition when the eldest son inherits a good share of the property to start a separate family. One of the features of the Kazakh national nature is hospitality. They set the table and greet the guests with a great hospitality with genuine humor and courtesy. Kazakhs are proud people. Stranger who's coming to a house will be greeted with hospitality. Kazakhs never ask the price of food. On the contrary, guests were fed a certain part of the meat. Nomads have a comfortable home for traveling, a yurt. It appeared in the ancient Bronze Age. Yurt of the 6 panels is located in the museum. This yurt is designed for the average family. In the yurt, door lintels is low and the threshold is higher. This is done to ensure that the incoming person could cross the threshold leaning on the right foot, thereby exerting respect for the house owner. In ancient times, looking at the appearance of the yurt, you could determine the welfare of the host and living conditions. Yurts are composed of 2 or 3 panels and reach 18 or 32 panels, and the number of concave grating of wooden poles, kerige, can reach from 70 to 360 pieces. Wealthy Kazakh yurts were filled with rich furnishings and ornaments. Kazakh yurt is a national cultural character which is celebrated today. Sharapazan is one of the... To give a blessing is a good tradition. Many believe this is a purely Islamic, and many Arabs do not use such a blessing.
Kudretli güçlü Allah, Kazak halkının irgesen, açlıktan, alapattan, soğustan saktay gör Allah, elimnin birligin, ıntımağın, joğaltmauga Allah'dan sırap jalnamız. Amin, Allahu Ekber.
Kazakhs have wise words. Together raise load is light. These words are associated when people come together to perform one operation. This is called asar. For residential buildings, shearing, felting, harvesting hay to perform an emergency jobs that need to quickly finish, the landlord calls for help villagers and relatives. Those who came did not take payment for the performance of work under asar. Kazakhs are skilled people. Among the people who are singing songs in the vast expanses of steppe, performing kiwi, the needlework, there were many jewelers with golden hands.
Зергер бұйымдар жасаған кезде қыздарға сонда мен жақсы ақ көңілмен
When I'm doing jewelry in a good mood and I have bright ideas about girls, then patterns are the same as script, so I write my script with these ornaments. Jeweler art has an ancient history. On the Kazakh land, there were many places rich with bronze, tin, gold, and various other metals. Through historically documented facts, it's easy to see how our ancestors made jewelry using it since ancient times. In the 19th century, the Kazakh people make more use of silver relative to gold because people believe that it gives a person the energy and strength. If a woman didn't have a silver bracelet on her arm, it was not allowed for her to enter the kitchen because the food cooked by her was considered to be unhealthy. Jewelers mainly produce jewelry. You see an exposition of the museum, which displays jewelry made in Western Kazakhstan. In the natural history museums of different regions of Kazakhstan, relics of praising national traditional values can be found. Archaeological excavations carried out in order to familiarize the younger generation with the history of their ancestors. Archaeological excavations prove who are the Kazakhs and in what era they lived. And coming from ancient times with the people historically deep in traditions, its national treasury and precious heritage never loses its value.
That's it. So if you have a question, so I'm happy to explain that these mostly we cover gentility, hospitality, the social status of daughter-in-law, and jewelry art. So basically traditional culture elements. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, dear Nurlihan. It was very interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting Kazakh national traditional way. Yeah, you can see it in the video organized by Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. Thank you very much, Nurlihan. And we just would like to say you're welcome to Kazakhstan, to our universities, and we will be happy to see you in the nearest future. So the next keynote speech, we just would like to give to Professor Aliya Masalimova. She's a Vice Rector of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, and the name of the presentation is the use of the digital technologies in teaching social and humanitarian disciplines, problems and prospects.
Можно только объяснить. Извините, пожалуйста, Алию Масалимову, ее вызвали срочно на совещание. Как понимаете, она проректор Казахского университета, так что Нурлыхан Алжанова будет представлять ее презентацию.
Okay, thank you very much, Violetta. Nurlihan, yes, the floor is for you. Yeah, dear colleagues, the next floor is for Nurlihan. She will present, yes, the speech, keynote speech of Aliya Masalimova. Aliya Masalimova, she is a vice rector, and because of a lot of work at the universities and the meetings during the day, okay, Nurlihan will present this.
Thank you so much. Let me to share a presentation of Professor Aliya Masalimova on behalf of her. So this topic on using of digital technologies in Kaznu in online education, like Professor Madlen's about Sofia institution. So this is about case in Kaznu. First, I want to mention that between Sofia and the Kazakh National University, we run this double degree program, double diploma master program. And since 2019, you see the first alumni, and these all alumni already got diplomas, and some first and second master students, they still study at the moment by this program. So,
извини, пожалуйста, все, которые участники, выключите свои микрофоны, пожалуйста.
Вы как организатор можете отключить их, если они не слышат. Educational process was run with a universe system. It's our university internal system, as well as distant learning system Moodle. And the teachers, they were using different platforms because Zoom was overloaded and during very early pandemic times. So like Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom, and Cisco WebEx, these, as well as Kahoot, these platforms were used during online education. And at the moment, there are a lot of teachers encouraged to develop their mock courses, massive open online courses, and as well as there is small private online courses. And here you can see the differences like availability and lecture hall and offers online courses. And nowadays, more and more lecturers, they develop their mock courses. As you see here, the websites where these mock courses are available: openkaznu.kz, MOOCs, and dlkaznu.kz. Here's some statistics on the mock number of courses at Kaznu. So in 2020, the relaunched number is 44. And at the moment, there are 37 mock courses is under development. And on the next chart, you can see about the number of registered attendees or listeners, students. And also there are Coursera campus for campus, which is used in Kaznu as well. So it means a lot of students who have done fulfill the course by Coursera, they can be just automatically counted at the course from their from their main educational program. So some courses which can be same direction, so it can be counted as a full course from his study program. This gives also a good opportunity. There is a big program, Ruhani Жаңғыру, which means spiritual revival. Under this program, a lot of courses, massive online courses are developed. You can see here, it's mostly our faculty, philosophy faculty courses, cultural studies, political science, psychology, social science, philosophy, and they develop it in 3 languages. So because of these courses, they are like common courses on all faculties and all departments of Kaznu. Students, they have opportunity to get these courses online in this database. And here you can see these courses, some courses elements which run under this program, Ruhani Жаңғыру. Definitely during online education, there were challenges and contradictions, like needing training in uncertain future, or ability of university to quickly translate them into training courses, and definitely to educate lecturers for digital culture, because most of them, they couldn't meet students, Z generation youth, they are requesters. So nowadays, this online education program run and all over the Kazakhstan and all educational systems. And what the problem which modern teacher, modern lecturer face, it's modern resources, means of organizing independent work of students, new roles, technologies for working with the thousands, with a lot of data, big data. And you can see here nowadays, modern teacher, at the one time, it is lecturer, tutor, digital curator, practitioner, mixed learning teacher. A modern teacher, he or she must have several abilities at the one time. Here, as well as these, they are roles of modern teacher in digital environment. And what's the digital transformation? Here, the difference between the building digital competences of workers and teachers. So when teachers, they must improve this using of digital technologies, developing skills needed for digital, and reliance on data-driven analysis. You have these 3 levels of digital competence proficiency: basic digital skills, transfer knowledge of training, and practical use. As well as here, most teachers in Kaznu, they have a lack of English language level. So this is also one of challenges which they face, lecturers in Kaznu. And what about digital ecosystem here? Its elements of ecosystem grow. It's about like a new ecosystem where you have to follow the culture of this ecosystem, like using human-centered technologies, human empowerment, or these interconnectedness elements of ecosystem grow. And on this slide, you can see a lot of tools for personal learning. So majority, vast of the information, vast of the platforms, you can get educated yourself. So this is in short presentation of Alema Salimova. Thank you for presentation. So as Professor Madeleine also informed, in Kaznu, it also was challenging with for teachers to have a higher digital culture. And one of the problems is also aged staff, aged lecturers. But there are a lot of steps done nowadays, and it is good challenge for growing in the future and develop the all online education and at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nurlihan, and thank you. Our thanks to Professor Aliyama Salimova for this very good presentation, and thank you very much that you show us this presentation and say a lot of things about our very big and very interesting interests in digitalization and all Kazakh universities. And the next, dear colleagues, if you will have any questions to Professor Aliyama Salimova, you will write your question on our chat of this webinar. The next keynote speech is for Professor Sabek Sahiev, Vice Rector for Research and Digitalization of Abai Kazakh National Pedagogical University. The name of the presentation is Higher Education plus Science plus Digitalization plus, and what plus we can know just now. Thank you. Sabek Qanshbekovich, вы здесь? Sabek Qanshbekovich, are you here? I think yes, he is here, but yes, something maybe. Just I will call him. And as you know, at our universities, a lot of meetings, and we are sorry for this. Just I will call to him because he was here. Yeah.
Дать слово доценту Мирбаеву.
Вам дали слово. Yes, he's here. Sabek Qanshbekovich, you are welcome. Yeah. I'm sorry, some technical problems, and he is here. I saw him. Some technical problems.
Может быть, тогда дать слово доценту Мирбаеву, он здесь. Баян, слышишь меня?
Да.
Чтобы не терять время, дать слово доценту Мирбаеву и потом профессор Сахиев.
Окей, давайте тогда так и сделаем.
Давай,
Хорошо.
а то теряем время очень.
Хорошо. Dear colleagues, we just to give the speech, the keynote speech to the professor of Al-Farabi National Center of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Professor Jan Mirbaev.
Thank you, Bayan. Thank you, Violeta. Good afternoon, participants of the International Educational Forum. First of all, I would like to thank Sofia University, Kliment, Ohridski, and Al-Farabi Scientific Educational and Cultural Center for the opportunity to share the experience during the difficult time of the pandemic. COVID-19 has made its own adjustment in all spheres of public life. And of course, this also affected the sphere of education and science. The academic community began to find new opportunities to discuss current issues in the industry, and primarily with the use of digital technologies. In the modern digital world, the most valuable information on scientific research, breakthrough projects, and discoveries is transferred into virtual space and is available on the internet. The staff of Al-Farabi Center did a tremendous work of collecting and structuring information related to the study of Al-Farabi's heritage, and launched the Al-Farabi website, which was officially presented as part of a presentation of the Al-Farabi Center on last year. Conceptually, the website is designed as a virtual model of an international center for Farabi studies. Its task is to accumulate information on modern Farabi studies, on scientific conferences and symposiums, publication and articles related to this topic. The website allows users to keep abreast of the news plunging into the virtual world of Al-Farabi from any point of the world. Work on technical and visual improvement of the site, filling it with high quality relevant information, doesn't stop even for a day. In the future, it is planned to launch interactive personalized services for communication of active site visitors. Nowhere else in the virtual space is the catalog of Abu Nasr Al-Farabi in Kazakh, Russian, Arabic, Persian, Turkish, Uzbek, European languages, and literature about the great thinker by sections. One section of the website also provides a list of textbooks, scientific articles, collective monographs, scientific works, conference proceedings, bibliographies, abstracts of theses on the creativity of Al-Farabi, and information on annual international Farabi readings and activities related to the preparation and holding of his 1150th anniversary. The center has launched the Al-Farabi Center YouTube channel, which video materials covering events, scientific conferences, current news, and popular science films dedicated to Al-Farabi. As the content accumulates, it is planned to launch additional functions and capabilities for a more systematic and complete provision of international on the single specialized resource. The encyclopedic heritage of Abu Nasr Al-Farabi is studied not only by scientists of Farabi University, but also by scholars of Farabi studies from the CIS and foreign countries, Finland, Turkey, India, Greece, USA, Bulgaria. This is a genuine global scientific community, the activities of which don't stop for a day. Scholars of Farabi studies study hundreds of works of the medieval thinkers, publish solid monographs, books, scientific articles, and journals, They interact, communicate, and share achievements and findings at various conferences and symposiums. To facilitate this type of interaction and exchange between Farabi scholars, students, undergraduates, and doctoral students, and all interested parties. Farabi University has created an interactive platform for non-institutional interaction on the principle of invisible college. This is essentially a community of independent scholars united by common interests, interacting without any organization or institutional structures. The Invisible College operates on the basis of the portal of the International Center for Farabi Studies, Farabi website. Two main areas. A discussion platform where current research in the field of Farabi studies is posted on the forum for public discussion, as well as an educational platform with the possibility of registering for a massive open online course, Al-Farabi and Modern World, for everyone interested in the life and work of the thinker, and issues of modern Farabi studies. The virtual community of Farabi scholars of the Invisible College also implies an online collaboration between foreign Al-Farabi centers, created as an initiative of Farabi University in the world's leading universities. I would like to elaborate on two projects, Al-Farabi Science Talks and Kazakh speakers implemented online. Al-Farabi Science Talks is one of the key events of the year of Al-Farabi, a series of online events in the Science Talks format dedicated to the 1150th anniversary of the great thinker. The project was initiated by the government of the Republic of Kazakhstan and implemented with the support of the Ministry of Education and Science. Famous Kazakh and foreign scientists and Farabi scholars were invited to participate in Al-Farabi Science Talks. You can see the list of scholars on the slide. Let me appreciate once more the contribution of our colleagues from University of St. Kliment Ohridski, Professor Семен Евстатьев. Кстати, я его не вижу здесь. The online broadcast of Al-Farabi Science Talks was duplicated on social networks, Facebook, Instagram, and on the YouTube channel of Farabi Center. And further discussion on the topic on the website
Владимир
Farabi Center, on the Invisible College resource. In the order to create conditions for the realization of the creative potential of Kazakhstan youth and the formation of the culture of virtue based on the teachings of Al-Farabi, Farabi University has announced a contest for the best speakers on the theme of the heritage of the great scientist and thinker. The objectives of the Kazakh speaker contest are to popularize and widely disseminate to the ideas of Al-Farabi among the young generation and develop the creativity, abilities and oratory skills. Dear participants, thank you a lot for your attention. I hope that in such difficult times we will continue our cooperation with using new approach and digitalization for developing research and science in the field of Farabi studies worldwide. Спасибо за внимание еще раз.
Спасибо тебе. Огромное спасибо. Очень интересно было.
Thank you very much, Professor Bigjan Mirbayev. It was very interesting, a lot of things and a lot of events, scientist events was done. And this Al-Farabi Center has a lot of challenge for future to have very interesting events. Yeah? We are very sorry, dear colleagues, will you please turn off your voice?
Выключите микрофоны. Выключите.
Sorry for this interruption. And I would like to say, Bigjan Mirbayev, thank you very much for your keynote speech and very interesting presentation. It was about I'm sorry, Chinara Usimbekovna, please turn off your voice. We're sorry. Thank you very much, Bigjan Mirbayev. I'm sorry for interruption all of the time. And I would like to give the next floor for Professor Sahiev Sayabek, Vice Rector of Kazakh National Pedagogical University, Vice Rector for Research and Digitalization. Sayabek Kwanshpekovich, is it okay with? I saw him. Yes, thank you.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые коллеги. Техника есть техника, мы просим прощения. Сегодняшнее мое выступление называется «Хорошее образование плюс наука плюс цифровизация». Позвольте мне показать, пожалуйста, слайд. Уважаемые коллеги, позвольте краткую информацию дать про наш университет. Наш университет является первым вузом в Республике Казахстан, которого, в принципе, в этом году исполнится 93 года. Значит, наш университет сейчас работает 900 профессоров в состав, 8 факультетов и 1 фондейшн. Значит, трудоустраиваемость нашего университета выпускников составила, значит, в 2019 году 97%. Значит, в прошлом году закончили 1952 выпускника, и, в принципе, рабочих вакансий оказалось 4300. Это показывает, что в Казахстане есть проблемы с подготовкой учителей. Значит, контингенты, вот, здесь указаны за 17-е годы, а здесь указаны 20-е годы. Как видите, значит, в принципе, с 17-го года по 20-й год контингенты выросли почти 2 раза. Значит, в том числе бакалавры 2 раза выросли, магистры у нас, в принципе, на том же уровне, в принципе, 8 человек разницы, с минусом, правда, а вот PhD-докторантов у нас стало почти 3,5 раза больше. Значит, прием в 2017 году у нас был 1942 человека, значит, в 2020 году здесь ошибочка составила почти 5500 человек. Значит, люди, которые закончили с золотой медалью, в 2017 году было 77 человек, а, как видите, значит, в 2020 году их уже стало почти 7 раз больше. Значит, в нашем университете в настоящее время есть 206 образовательных программ, значит, 5110 грантников, 61 аккредитован, в том числе в этой программе, из них 21 это международная аккредитация имеет. Из 206 123 являются по педагогическим специальностям. Значит, имеется 12 данных программ, из них 5 это образовательные. То есть вот такая ситуация, в принципе, в нашем университете касательно динамики высшего образования. Теперь пару слов о науке. Значит, в данном диаграмме приведены, значит, количество проектов, начиная с 2017 года по 2020 годы, а также ее финансирование указано в миллионах тенге национальной валюты Казахстана. Как видите, здесь тоже динамика впечатляющая. Единственное, 2020 год, почему всего 59 проектов, мы планируем намного больше, но пандемия, конечно, внесла свои коррективы, и, естественно, многие работы, они были приостановлены. Точнее, планы не были осуществлены. Но финансирование науки выросло, как видите, почти 4,5 раза за эти 4 года. Ну вот это еще один количественный показатель. В 2017 году, если наших ППС, которые были индекс Хирша, всего было 35 человек, то к концу 2020 года их стало 130 человек. Практически тоже за неполных 4 года составило 4 раза. Ну и, естественно, это отразилось на публикации наших ученых. Значит, в общей сложности у нас более 3000 публикаций, в том числе, значит, в Скопусе в 2017 году было 72, в 2020 году стало уже 133. Значит, в Экосайенсе было всего 7 в 2017 году, в 2020 году их стало 32, практически более чем 5 раз. Ну, естественно, эта динамика сказалась и уже как на количественном, так и уже на качественном показателе. Следующий слайд. Значит, в соответствии с нашей стратегией, наш университет планирует стать не только исследовательским, но и цифровым, а также зеленым. То есть это все должно быть, конечно, экосистема выстроена. В данном случае мы привели только, значит, о цифровизации. Я думаю, что наших коллег я здесь ничем не удивлю. Это классическая структура, где рассчитаны все компоненты. Ну, вам это все знакомо. Повторяться, наверное, не имеет смысла. И то, что понятно, что сейчас идет пандемия, внесла свои коррективы, все вузы, практически высшие учебные заведения всего мира используют научные технологии, IT-технологии. Вот. Я нарочно не стал их рассказывать в своем выступлении в целях экономии времени, а также то, что вот мой альма-матер, Казахский национальный университет имени Аль-Фараби, они очень хорошо показали практически все, что у них есть, и используется, естественно, в нашем университете и достаточно успешно. Я хотел бы вот это сэкономить время потратить вот на следующее. Значит, мы следующий, значит, в 2020 году выиграли программу Erasmus+, которая финансируется с Еврокомиссией. Значит, называется Kazakh. Значит, здесь, как видите, партнеры, значит, высшие учебные заведения Германии, Австрии, Эстонии, аккредитационные центры Германии, также казахстанские национальные есть, и несколько университетов и колледжи Республики Казахстан. В следующем слайде я хотел бы просто кратко рассказать, какие цели они все указаны. В принципе, что предполагается делать, какие результаты мы собираемся получить и что для этого нужно сделать. И это очень важный проект для всего Казахстана, потому что то, что внедрено в этой стране Евросоюза, она аккуратно хотим уже стандартизовать и в том же внести в Казахстане его. И, в принципе, естественно, это уже потребует изменения законодательства, некоторых изменений, дополнений, которые также являются одним из важнейших результатов нашего проекта. Вот, коллеги, я хотел бы здесь предложить всем вам, участвующим, с будущим поискать международные фонды, в том числе можно и Erasmus+ подать проект по цифровизации, поскольку она и есть, в ближайшее время будет играть активную роль. Коллеги, в дополнение я хотел бы еще с вами поделиться некоторыми мыслями. Конечно, пандемия внесла свои коррективы, и, в принципе, жизнь землян, естественно, она отразилась и не может бесследно уйти, но, тем не менее, пандемия, она тоже закончится, поскольку человечество живет и это. Но сделать правильные выводы. Процесс цифровизации, она дальше будет иметь более глобальную роль. И в этом плане, лет через 10-15, я думаю, что роль искусственного интеллекта займет еще большую свою роль в жизни, и на самом деле здесь будет сложно конкурировать, возможно, простому народу, но тем не менее, это все есть материальная часть развития. Значит, в этой связи я хотел бы поделиться своими следующими мыслями. Ну, наверное, строго классифицировать не будем, но в целом приведем, как это делается в области. Есть, естественно, направления, обычно их 5, естественно, направления, также междисциплинарные, я условно назову его инженерными, медицина, социальные науки, а также искусство и гуманитарные. Так вот, естественно, научные дисциплины, естественно, она, в принципе, там все измеряется, это материальная часть жизни. Так что там работает теория относительности, все можно в сравнении увидеть. То есть, условно можно его измерить, я вот так вот разделить и назвать. Это все, что можно измерить. А вот как бы нематериальная часть, то есть это имеется в виду чувства, эмоции, так ведь их же либо есть, либо их нет. То есть их не может быть огромно меньше, у кого-то больше, у кого-то меньше. И это изменить невозможно, потому что понятно, что это нематериальная часть. То есть здесь играет два варианта. То есть два варианта всего. Либо есть, вот самое важное, когда материальная часть будет уже, материальная часть будет играть роль искусственного интеллекта и дальнейшее его развитие, то есть для человека становится особенно важно, это как раз таки балансирование этих очень важных компонентов человеческой жизни. Вот поэтому я считаю, что технологии будут развиваться, и их никак не остановить. Но самое важное, вот эта часть, которую я бы назвал просто информатизацией информации. А вот эта часть, которой мы сейчас занимаемся, это и есть цифровизация. Так что спасибо за внимание, коллеги. И в конце я хотел бы закончить свое выступление словами Альберта Эйнштейна. Как он однажды сказал, как много мы знаем, но как мало мы понимаем. Спасибо. Если есть вопросы, я готов ответить.
Thank you very much, dear Professor Sahiev Saibek Quanshpekovich. This is the real digitalization that he shows us today. And it was very interesting. Thank you very much for your presentation and for your dissemination of KazDual project. And I would like to, yes, to translate some words of Professor Sahiev, that COVID has made its own contribution to the development of life. like any pandemic, it will be passed by humanity. He wants to share with you a few about the following in 10 and 15 years. The role of digitalization will grow significantly. And one of the important roles will be played by artificial intelligence. The terms informatization and digitalization are linked and correlated with each other. But the information is more general, containing digitalization, which is the material part of the development of mankind. The theory of relativity that was by Einstein works in the material world. In the immaterial, it does not work. The feeling is either there or not. Emotion cannot be compared with someone who is stronger or who is weaker, either because they are immaterial. He thinks that this will be importance of social science and research. Thank you very much, and dear colleagues.
Дай мне слово.
Yes, I would like to give the next floor is for Violetta.
Огромное спасибо всем нашим спикерам. Было очень интересно поделиться. Как раз получилось то, что наша цель — поделиться практиками, инновациями, новыми методиками, у кого есть в этой эпохе цифровизации. Дорогие коллеги, так как мы опаздываем и вообще вышли со временем, и мы не видим на скайпе, на чате никакого вопроса. Вопрос, который ты мне дала, Баян, это наш магистрант из Бухары, это не по теме. Если у кого-то есть вопросы, пожалуйста, или предоставить слово профессору Панову, закрыть наш вебинар. Как коллеги, есть вопросы?
Dear colleagues, do you have questions? You're welcome.
Если нет, так как все, я смотрела, записали все имейлы, у вас наши есть контакты, пожалуйста, конечно, когда обдумаешь, тогда, может быть, возникнут вопросы. Но мы не прощаемся. Наш следующий вебинар, участники будут коллеги из Узбекистана и опять же Казахстан будут присутствовать. Так что мы надолго вместе, хочу сказать. А сейчас разрешите мне предоставить слово профессору Панову, директору Центра восточных языков и культур и руководителя вот этого проекта, который нас собрал всех вместе. Пожалуйста.
Спасибо, коллега Давичина. Dear Professor Stoicheva, Vice Rector of Sofia University, St. Kliment Ohridski. Dear Professor Danova, Dean of Faculty of Classical and Modern Philology. Dear Mrs. Dobichina, Director of Scientific, Educational and Cultural Center Al-Farabi. Dear Professor Masalimova, Vice Rector of Kazakhstan State University Al-Farabi. Dear Professor Sakhliev, Vice Rector of the National Pedagogical University of Kazakhstan, Abai. Dear Dr. Meirbaev, Director of National Center Al-Farabi at the Kazakh National University Al-Farabi. Dear guests, dear colleagues, on behalf of the governing board of the Center of Eastern Language and Cultures, allow me to thank you for participating in this first webinar on higher education issues in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. I am confident that the interesting reports presented here will contribute to the overcoming the difficulties that have arisen as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. They will also contribute to increasing the effectiveness of digital education in our universities. At the same time, I see this meeting as a beginning of active cooperation in the field of higher education in Bulgaria and Kazakhstan. Thank you again for your participation and stay healthy. И несколько слов по-руски. Уважаема професор Стайчева, проректор Софийска университета Светова Климета Охридскава, уважаема професор Данова, декан факултета класических и нових филологии, уважаема госпожа Дабичина, директор научно-образователного и културного центра Al-Farabi, уважаема професор Масалимова, проректор Казахского национального университета имени Al-Farabi, уважаемый профессор Сахиев, проректор Казахского национального педагогического университета имени Абая, уважаемый доктор Мейрбаев, директор Национального центра имени Al-Farabi, Казахского национального университета имени Al-Farabi. Дорогие гости, коллеги, позвольте мне от имени Совет правления Центра восточных языков и культур поблагодарить вас за участие в этом первом вебинаре, посвященном проблемам высшего образования в связи с пандемией COVID-19. Я убежден, что представленные интересные доклады будут способствовать преодолению трудностей, возникших в результате чрезвычайных обстоятельств. Они также будут способствовать повышению эффективности цифрового образования в наших университетах. В то же время я вижу эту встречу как начало активного сотрудничества в области высшего образования Болгарии и Казахстана. Еще раз благодарю вас за участие. Будьте здоровы.
Спасибо, профессор Панов. На этом я должна закрыть нашу встречу. Огромное спасибо за интерес, за участие, за работу. И до встречи 28 мая, когда участниками этого семинара будут наши коллеги из Узбекистана. Спасибо вам всем.
Спасибо, до свидания.
До свидания.
До свидания.
До свидания.
До новых встреч в офлайне.
Спасибо большое.
Спасибо.
До свидания.
Онлайн
Спасибо
это, конечно,
большое.
хорошо. Это...
Спасибо.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Спасибо.
Bye.
До свидания.
Он принес 100 тысяч. В противном случае то ли выпустят, то ли лечить не будут, то ли его не